What hormones are the most important for athletes? No matter your chosen sport, in the quest for athletic success, we all have the aim of maximizing our potential. That's where hormones play a crucial role. Welcome back to yet another video. Why are hormones the most important for athletes and how are they essential? Let's discuss all these today. If you're an intense athlete, your workout will be orientated toward strengthening your cardiovascular system and increasing your energy savings. If you're a strength athlete, your training will be very different with a greater emphasis on muscular growth and power. Your body must respond positively to the workout load placed upon them for your training to be productive. Change and advancement are brought about by the body's instructive processes. Hormones have a role in this. Hormones aren't necessarily not just good for health, but also for sports performance. What are hormones and what do they do? Hormones are chemical messengers that are produced by your endocrine glands and carried via the bloodstream. The endocrine system is controlled by the hypothalamus, which is found in the brain. It serves as a firewall, combining internal cues from the body with external variables like exercise and sleep to control the pituitary gland's hormones output. The pituitary gland releases hormones that move across the body to endocrine glands, such as the thyroid, adrenals, ovaries, and testes. Thyroxine, cortisol, estrogen, and testosterone are released into the bloodstream by these glands. Hormones aid in the sort of adaptation to activity that is required for endurance, such as activating specific proteins for muscle growth or synthesizing enzymes that enhance glucose management in a cell. After training during restoration, the adjustments that enable better fitness take place. That is why rest and recuperation are essential components of every training program. Hormones can only be released during these moments of rest. For both endurance and power athletes, they support and drive longer term changes. Hormones are important not just for health, but also athletic performance. It's critical to balance the three major aspects of diet, training load, and recuperation to maintain an appropriate hormonal response. Hormones are collected through behavior. The normal hormonal health is ensured by regular exercise and well-balanced diet and enough relaxation. The borderline daily exercise along with energy-dense diet is insufficient rest. Time might put you at risk for poor hormonal health. The danger zone. Regular exercise paired with insufficiently energizing food and insufficient rest time might have negative influence on hormonal health. Feedback loops arise to maintain the right amounts of hormones circulating in the bloodstream. The brain receives information from the circulating hormones to determine whether greater, lesser, or equivalent activity is needed. With such complex and dynamic work, it's predictable that if you overwork your endocrine system, whether via intense training, insufficient recuperation, or bad diet, things may go out of whack, and you won't be able to train or perform your full capacity. Hormones are divided into three groups: steroids, peptides, and amines, modified amino acid hormones. Each hormone class has its molecular structure, which influences how it reacts with certain receptors. Steroid hormones operate with receptors in the nucleus of a cell. Peptide hormones are made up of amino acids and function with particular receptors on the cell membrane. And amines are nitrogen-containing hormones that impact the sympathetic nervous system. Hormones can be anabolic, meaning they aid in formation of new tissue, or catabolic, meaning they aid in the breakdown of old tissue. Some key exercises and hormones are, as well as the psychological activities they influence, are listed below. Insulin. Insulin is a peptide hormone produced by the pancreas that controls carbohydrates and fat metabolism. Insulin is produced as blood sugar levels rise, promoting glycogen and glucose storage and absorption. Insulin aids in the reduction of blood glucose levels by increasing glucose absorptions from the circulation into the skeletal muscles and adipose cells. Insulin can cause fat to be deposited in adipose tissue rather than being utilized to fuel the muscular function, because the sympathetic nervous system inhibits insulin release when exercise begins. It is critical to avoid high sugar meals, even sports drinks, before exercise, because they can raise insulin levels and encourage glycogen storage rather than enabling it to be utilized to fuel physical activity. Before using any sports drinks or glucose gel, wait until the body has begun to sweat. Glycogen. The pancreas produces glycogen in reaction to low blood sugar levels to stimulate the release of free fatty acids, FFAs, from adipose tissue and raise blood glucose levels, both of which are essentially for fuel fueling athletic activity. Glucagon releases more glycogen stored in the liver as glycogen levels are lowered during exercise. Cortisol. The adrenal gland produces cortisol, a catabolic steroid hormone. In reaction to stress, low blood sugar, and exercise, it aids energy metabolism during prolonged exercise by boosting the breakdown of triglycerides and protein to produce the glucose required for activity when the body is under too much physical stress or has not fully recovered from prior exertion. Cortisol is produced while cortisol aids fat metabolism. Excessive exercise can cause cortisol levels to rise, causing muscle protein to be catabolized for fuel instead of being saved to repair injured tissue. Norepinephrine and epinephrine, they are the two hormones that are produced by the adrenal glands. These amines hormones assist the sympathetic nervous system, the SNS, in producing energy and maintaining biological function during cardiorespiratory workouts. Epinephrine and norepinephrine, both catecholaminases, are two hormones that are related yet distinct. Epinephrine, often known as adrenaline since it's generated by the adrenal gland, raises cardiac output, raises blood sugar, which helps fuel exercise, stimulates glycogen breakdown for energy, and aids fat metabolism. Norepinephrine has many of the same effects as epinephrine, but it also constricts blood arteries in regions of the body that aren't used during activity. Testosterone is a steroid hormone generated by Leydig cells in males' testes and ovaries in females, with lesser levels produced by both genders' adrenal glands. Testosterone is involved in muscle protein resynthesis and the restoration of muscle proteins that have been damaged by exercise, as well as in the growth of skeletal muscle. Testosterone is generated in response to exercise that destroys muscle proteins and acts with particular receptors sites. HGHD stands for human growth hormone. Human growth hormone, or HGHD, is an aggressive peptide hormone that stimulates cellular development and is produced by the anterior pectoral gland. HGHD, like all hormones, interacts with particular receptor sites to generate a variety of effects, including muscle protein synthesis, bone mineralization, immune system support, and lipolysis or fat metabolism. High-intensity activity such as heavy strength training, explosive power training, or cardiovascular exercise at or above the start blood lactate (OBLA), the second ventile threshold, stimulates the production of HGHD during REM sleep cycles. Insulin-like growth factors, IGF. IGF is a protein that is similar to insulin. Insulin-like growth factor, IGF, has a molecular structure identical to insulin and is induced by the same processes that cause HGHD production. IGF is a peptide hormone synthesized in the liver that assists HGH in repairing protein damage caused by exercising, making it a critical hormone for muscle development. Are you a sports person? Which is your favorite sport? Were you aware of these facts before? What are the most important hormones? How do hormones affect sports performance? Tell us all in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.